now listening to your brain on air. The program will begin shortly. Enjoy.
أن تستمعوا إلى عقلك على الهواء. سيبدأ البرنامج قريبا. استمتع.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I am your host, Ollie Vogt Larson, and Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, is it? They were called the N-word while presenting an award at the BAFTAs. So what, ladies and gentlemen? This is proving that white people, they're back. Sydney Sweeney, she broke the mold, and she showed that it was fine to desire a pure Aryan family. Her genes are clean, ladies and gentlemen. She didn't even have to put those bitches in the freezer. Her desirable white body, her medium-tier white face. During an appearance on the Michael Knowles podcast, the influencer known as Clavicular, whose real name apparently is Braden Peters, he made derogatory comments about Sydney Sweeney. Specifically, he described Sydney Sweeney as malformed. He remarked that she had the eyes of doom. He's not wrong about her recessed forehead. People have described her as having a gooner body, you know what I mean? A figure that's decent, a less than average face. By the way, he's not wrong. Am I saying that I'm a Brad Pitt? No, but I'm saying she's no prima donna, as Marina and the Diamonds would say. It's a little, in her little weird Welsh accent, gooner body just means that men are interested in you for your soft parts, which is like, damn, can you imagine the most desirable part of you being that you can bear children well? I mean, if you're a dog, you're a dog. It doesn't matter if you're black or white, as the children's saver Michael Jackson would say. By the way, he was moving like Balthazar Brat in Despicable Me 3 to get kids off that island. He was moonwalking on the waves of the ocean. Folks, it's amazing. It's amazing. He saved Macaulay Culkin. You know what I mean? Apparently Macaulay Culkin was going to get some cheese pizza on the island. He misunderstood the invite. I mean, according to all of the documents, people are still iffy on mentioning whether or not there were boys at the island. They were like, oh no, there were no boys at all. Like, we only heard stories about females coming out. Boys can't be victims, right? It's only Nickelodeon girls and beauty pageant girls, right? Boys are just in the Catholic Church, apparently, you know what I mean? But there's no chance that, billionaires anywhere would be interested in little boys, except for the Franklin scandal and instances like that. There were girls involved in that, too. But I'm just saying, at a pizza party, I'm guessing that there's sausage pizza alongside the oyster. That's all I'm saying, folks. And is that a crazy thing to assume based on what we're getting revealed in all of these things? There's new stories dropping every single day because, once again, people are combing over 3 million files. You're going to get new stories and new shit that's being turned over every day. Let's keep this critical energy up because, folks, if you don't know, the first theme of our first story, it's race. Could have been written by Francis Galton. We are dialed in for the rest of this story on race. Let's start our first story, ladies and gentlemen. Begin. Go. No, play the intro music correctly. Bam. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Tourette syndrome advocate John Davidson shouts the N-word whilst Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo presented an award at the 2026 BAFTAs. Guys, like I said at the beginning of today's episode, white people are back. The actor who plays him in the biopic still won, by the way. This man, John Davidson, he got a movie made about his life, apparently, and he showed up for it. It was called I Swear. I did not know this. The BBC, they issued a formal apology today after viewers of the 79th BAFTA Film Awards, if you don't know. They were left stunned by a series of obscene and highly offensive outbursts captured during the live broadcast. By the way, it's not exactly live, actually. They had about, I can't remember exactly how long the minute delay is, but they had a chunk of time to where they could have, if they chose to, and I'm going to play you the clip, they could have chosen to neglect this part of the actual broadcast because the N-word, while it might be muffled a bit, I certainly can just pick it out of a crowd. If it's a recognizable word, when you hear gently off in the distance of a crowd, even the cadence is recognizable. You go, you know what I mean? I hear that in the distance and I'm like, I assume it's a racial slur. Apparently, he's a prominent Scottish Tourette syndrome activist. He's the real life inspiration behind the BAFTA-winning film I Swear. Davidson, who was invited as a guest to the London ceremony, experienced a series of involuntary vocal tics that included the strong profanity and, most controversially, a racial slur directed toward presenters Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo. Okay, let's And immediately you're going to hear Alan coming. I'm not a big fan of this gentleman. I feel as though he's hiding something. I don't know. I haven't seen any confirmation that he's at a party with Epstein yet, but he just he serves the vibe. I'm sorry. He was the host or something like that. He was in a difficult position. He paused the ceremony twice to address the audience at the Royal Festival Hall, coming explain that the language was a result of a medical disability. Okay, sure. I've known people with Tourette's, and they are not that selective with their language, you know what I mean? If they see two Japanese fellas in front of them per se, you know what I mean? They're not going to scream out Jap. I've known people with Tourette's, and they're not the types to do that. I'm sorry. He's emphasizing that Tourette's tics are entirely involuntary and they do not reflect the intentions or the beliefs of the person. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, they're not even a comedian, so they can't even cover it with like they're being satirical. Despite the pre-show advisory from the floor manager and Cummings' graceful handling of the situation, a great way to word it, BBC. They faced immediate backlash for failing to bleep or edit the slur from the delayed broadcast and subsequent a BBC iPlayer. I want you guys to actually hear it so that you know how just startling this was. And I'm going to leave it in the description so you can watch it for yourself. It's very, very, very fun. Let's begin.
Good evening. Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate the artists who expand what's possible on screen.
All right, let's... One more time, ladies and gentlemen, for those who may not have heard it the first time, it's immediately after Michael B. Jordan finishes up his section, and this gentleman picks up after him.
You may have heard some strong and offensive...
No, Alan Cumming, don't address it.
We're delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making. We're here to celebrate the artists who expand what's possible on screen. You may have heard some strong and offensive language tonight. If you've seen the film I Swear, you will know that film is about the experience of a person with Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome is a disability, and the tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means the person who has Tourette syndrome has no control over their language. We apologize if you were offended.
Okay, from what I'm hearing, this gentleman, did the right thing and, left afterwards, because after you drop the good old-fashioned N-bomb, unfortunately, many people will say this, he was a Bluetooth speaker that, Middle America sent in there to actually voice the feelings of many people watching from Boise, Idaho, or something like that. Yeah, you know, Trump in office, not even Hollywood can hide from the good old-fashioned N-bomb. Middle America breaking through the Hollywood energy is exactly what it was to me personally. That's exactly what I felt. GMA, do you got anything to say about it that I might not?
Good morning, George. The movie I Swear won big at last night's BAFTAs. Its lead, Robert Aramayo, won Best Actor over favourite Timothy Chalamet. It's based on the life of Tourette's campaigner John Davidson, who was there for the awards, but his involuntary tics are making the headlines.
This man got a biopic made in his honor, and the gentleman who played him in the movie won for Best Actor. And at the ceremony honoring said movie about you drop the N-bomb. What a life you've lived. You've called Michael B. Jordan the N-word at on a worldwide broadcasted. How much can a white guy win at life?
This morning. What should have been Britain's big night to celebrate art and culture, with royalty mixing with the Hollywood elite, instead is mired in controversy this morning. The BBC...
By the way, not a good time lately for the Hollywood elite, by the way. Not a good time for them neither.
Apologising to BAFTA viewers after several obscene outbursts from Tourette's activist John Davidson were heard on a broadcast. Davidson is the inspiration for the movie I Swear, which was nominated for 6 awards and took home the leading actor BAFTA. He was diagnosed with Tourette's syndrome at the age of 12. It's a neurological condition that can cause involuntary movements and vocal tics, sometimes involving outbursts of inappropriate language.
I knew a few kids with Tourette's, actually. I knew of quite a few individuals where, like, they had the same situation situations where like it was either facial movements, it was like verbal outbursts. There was a few kids where and I'm just gonna say it. Maybe the teachers just didn't know how to handle it back in those days, because I remember distinctly back in maybe 2nd or 3rd grade there was this kid, and I'm pretty sure he had Tourette's, that or he had just something wrong with him. But I remember he just couldn't stop himself from shouting out in the middle of class. I remember we were watching Pocahontas in the middle of it, and then he just kept shouting, "Feather monkey, feather monkey, feather monkey," and then the teacher goes, I'm not gonna say his name. Let's give him a fake name. She goes, "Bob, get out of class. Bob, you gotta go sit out in the hall." He had to go sit out with the teacher's aide, and it sucked. It was unfortunate for him. I don't think he meant it, but admittedly, that was a very distinct one to use. I've never forgotten it once in my life, and I'm only using it now for the purposes of storytelling. So folks, I mean, it's one that maybe you haven't heard before in your life, but it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, and they're an interesting people. They're an interesting people to get to know. I'd say make a few friends of them. There was one individual. He was a really talented singer. He was a performer. I remember I did musical a few years, and he would just leap across the stage and shit, and he was one of the best performers, and I was like, his condition never held him back. He was one of the best performers they had, and I'm like, if he was able to be one of these people that was able to perform elegantly, speak just amazingly, able to get it under the point where he can recite scripts and whatnot, I don't understand how this guy can't get it under wraps for the most important night of, I would assume, be his life. Personally, you're an activist for Tourette's. Showing up to a movie premiere that is a movie about you is maybe the most that you'll ever have to look forward to in your sad little Scottish life. And he mucked it. He mucked it all up.
Broadcast was while Cinestars Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were on stage.
How much do you not like Sinners? I mean, I was not the biggest fan of it, but he must have hated it to be like, they're up there. Oh, this is my chance. Like, how much do you hate that movie? I get it. I love Dusk Till Dawn. I hated that they stole the plot from it. I hated that it was just a lesser version of it that was directed very artistically and whatever, and that's why it got a bunch of plaudits, and the acting was fine, and the twins' shtick was whatever and whatnot. It was fine. It was a perfectly fine movie, but watch Dusk Till Dawn. It's a 10 times better version of it, and it didn't win anything significant that year. I'm sorry. Apparently, Salma Hayek dumping liquor down her feet into Quentin Tarantino's mouth. You know he was a big fan of that scene. You know that he was just, never mind. We're not going to talk about his fantasies anymore.
Presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
A racial slur could be heard while the men presented the award for Best Visual Effects. Jordan and Lindo looked startled, but continued on. Alan Cumming later asking the audience for their understanding.
You may have heard some strong and offensive language tonight. Tourette syndrome is a disability, and the tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means the person who has Tourette syndrome has no control over their language. We apologise if you were offended.
If you were.
So the big question this morning, why did these outbursts remain on the broadcast when other parts of the event were cut? Like the words of one award winner who said "Free Palestine," especially when you think that there was a 2-hour delay on this broadcast.
We dropped the Free Palestine. This is how I know that the BAFTAs and Alan Cumming, they are Israel core. Not just because of Alan Cumming's everything, his vibe, his appearance, the way he presents himself. He's very, the peacock of Hollywood type that you normally see, you know what I mean? It's obviously Israel core. The whole thing is goy slop, and you watch it and you're at home and you're going, why would anybody care about this? They were able to edit out the Free Palestine reference, but they were able to leave in the racial slur, because guess what? They knew that this would be a great story to keep in. They knew that this would be a great story. I'm talking about this to start off our episode rather than the Epstein files. It worked. It clearly worked. I'm engaging in the goy slop, literally. But this is just fun, and it's a fun way to hook people that, come watch this from Twitter. It's a good way to get that captive audience, you know what I mean? Because we cover fun shit like this. GMA, do you got any closing words for us?
The BBC has this morning issued a statement apologising that Davidson's comments were not edited out ahead of the broadcast, and they say they will now be cut from the online version and on streaming. You've got to feel for Davidson. He must have been very embarrassed by all this. He left the event, it's thought, early, halfway through.
It's thought.
Yeah, the BBC might have caught that.
Yeah. Well, actually, they caught him. They managed to catch him on the red carpet, I believe.
Hello.
Oh, he's so cheery.
Want him to wait finally got to see the first the edited cut of the film.
The edited cut of the film.
I did not imagine anybody could pretend to have Tourette's as an actor than any, and how good he done it. It was fantastic. And I mean, even now when I watch some of the adverts that come on, Facebook and TikTok, and it's the scene in the library, I can't watch it. Hello.
A scene in the library, he can't watch it. I mean, apparently he's touched, you know what I mean? I'm sure that Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo were touched by your words, gentlemen. You're a fun guy. I enjoy that this is a good, you know what I mean, a good shake-up moment for Hollywood. Whether or not you think that this is like I've said, I think this is this guy trying to win at life. I think that he saw an opportunity to be the whitest man imaginable. He got a movie made about him. He was there to he was there to be honored and to have someone who played him in a movie accept an award for playing him. He apparently made so many people emotional that a person playing him was able to get an award for it. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely silly. But it's fun, isn't it? It's funny to look at these people and think, man, they're doing a lot better than me. And is it just because they're disabled? Is that really that's this guy's big talent? Is that he shouts a racial slur every now and then without? I don't mean it. I really don't. I went off site. What he did an interview I don't know how long ago, and he goes, it's ridiculous, quite frankly, when I have to shout the M-word in public and people just think I'm a racist or something. And it's like, I don't think you're a racist, buddy. I think you're a misunderstood guru, quite frankly, that a lot of people could learn from. And I think you encapsulate a good cultural moment that we could all learn from, that we could all reference and look back on. This will go down in history, folks. It's no Oscars slap, but it's a fun one. It's a fun one, and we haven't had a moment like this in a minute. We can focus on something else. We can focus on, how about the new details on the man fatally shot at Trump's Mar-a-Lago? Let's deal with that, man. Security is remaining at maximum level at Palm Beach today as investigators they're releasing new details regarding the fatal shooting of an armed intruder at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate early Sunday morning. FBI has identified the deceased man as 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin of Cameron. It's not Cameroon, excuse me, because there's not two O's, North Carolina. According to law enforcement, Martin breached the, quote, the inner perimeter of the property around 1:30 a.m. by driving through the north gate just as another vehicle was exiting. At the time of the breach, President Trump and the First Lady were in Washington, and no other members of the First family were present on the premises. Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw described a tense confrontation between the intruder and security detail consisting of 2 Secret Service agents and a sheriff's deputy. Martin was reportedly carrying a shotgun and a gas canister when he was cornered. When ordered to drop the items, officials say Martin set down the fuel can but raised the shotgun into a shooting position. Definitely. I buy it 100%. That, or they realize that we have a good patsy opportunity and we can just make a good Lee Harvey Oswald out of this one. The agents and the deputy fired simultaneously, neutralizing the threat, as they say here. Martin was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation into motive is ongoing, but the complex picture of the suspect is beginning to emerge. Martin's family had reported him missing to the North Carolina authorities just minutes after the shooting occurred. Relatives who described him as an avid Trump supporter expressed total shock. They expressed Martin as a quiet kid who was generally averse to guns. This, I mean, sleeper agent, is that what anybody else's alarm bells going off here? Investigators believe Martin purchased a shotgun while traveling to South Florida as an empty box for the weapon was recovered from his vehicle. You know what I think is happening with a lot of these right-wing kids, unfortunately, is they're realizing that Israel is the ultimate enemy when it comes to a lot of this. Not Jews. Knock it off. If you're gonna play that game, don't even watch this show. But people are realizing that Israel is the ultimate enemy. They are realizing that Benjamin Netanyahu is showing up to our White House repeatedly. He is the reason that we're about to go to war with Iran, probably. He is the entire reason that we are, involved as much as we are in sending money to them. Listen, folks. People have, the great noticing is here. You know what I mean? I don't know. In the words of many people, I think that Benjamin Netanyahu realizes that his time is short when it comes to power. Whether or not it's going to be through a coup, whether or not it's going to be through a consolidation of power, because his cabinet realizes we have a gentleman who's too unpopular with the general people. We're going to have to throw in some other figurehead for our movement and whatnot. Maybe move Bibi to some offshore place where he's going to be able to work. You know what I mean? But still from just the shadows or something. Folks, what I think is going on is these right-wing individuals are seeing that Trump is complete shill. They're going, he's the first Jewish president in the world, and people are going, okay, fuck it. We are fucked. We are totally cooked because Peter Thiel, completely has bought out J.D. Vance. He is obviously the heir to the throne. The next Republican candidate is not going to be someone loyal to their America First cause. It's going to be someone loyal to Israel first. So these people are going, fuck it, my mind is breaking. I've been loyal to this one person and now they're completely bought out by this individual. Our movement has no solid figurehead. Let's go take it in our own hands. And unfortunately, this is kind of a natural result of realizing that, MAGA was never the solution to the Israel problem. MAGA was never the solution. MAGA has been bought out by Israel probably ever since day one, honestly. He talked a lot about the insiders, the bankers. He talked a lot about that. He wasn't talking about the Finkelsteins. He wasn't talking about individuals that he was friends with. He was talking about people that he just didn't like. He was talking about people that sued him and held him to account when he got into bad business dealings. He wanted to go in and he was like, I want to be part of the system so I can just do some bullshit and get away with it. And if that's a controversial take to some people, whatever.
The FBI is now identifying the man fatally shot by 2 Secret Service agents and a sheriff's deputy at President Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort.
Watch this be his manifesto.
Austin Tucker Martin. Now, this photo of Martin was posted to an Instagram account belonging to his brother, believing Martin was missing. Now, according to authorities, Martin breached a secure perimeter at the property's gate, allegedly carrying a shotgun and a gas can. Now, the president is in Washington this weekend, and the Secret Service says no other protectees were there. Joining me now with the latest is senior White House correspondent Selena Wang, along with the ABC contributor and former Secret Service agent Donald Mihalik. Selena, I want to start with you. What are we learning about the man who was killed by agents and how this all unfolded?
Yeah, so we've received confirmation from the FBI that the person who was fatally shot at the president's Mar-a-Lago residence was Austin Tucker Martin, 21 years old, of Moore County, North Carolina. The FBI says that because this investigation is ongoing, they do not have additional information.
By the way, this kid looks like an absolute dork. This kid looks like a kid who reads. This kid looks like an individual who maybe has poured over one too many Instagram reels. And honestly, this looks like the exact candidate for the case that I'm talking about. Someone who is woken up too deep. They're going like, fuck, the red pill movement, it's not the solution. I've been black pilled, and so we're just going to kill everybody.
To provide at this time. Now, as you noted, this is important to mention that the president is here at the White House in Washington this weekend. He is not down in Mar-a-Lago as he often is over the weekend. We did get some more detail about how this all went down from the Palm Beach County Sheriff at a press conference this morning. He said that about 1:30 a.m. this morning, the security detail detected that an individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. Then a deputy and 2 Secret Service agents, they went to the area to investigate. They confronted a man carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop them. He put down the gas can, but the sheriff says that he raised the shotgun to a shooting position and that it was at that time that the deputy and 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons. Authorities said that this individual died at the scene. Again, Austin.
Well, there you go. It sucks for his family. They're going to have to realize that our son, we thought he was a good Trump supporter. We thought he was a good goy. And we were going to take him to McDonald's to get his daily dose of adrenochrome. And sadly, he wasn't in his bed. And then he went and he tried to take justice into his own hands. And look where it ended up for him.
Martin,
look at that.
21 years old, of Moore County, North Carolina.
Don, as Selena mentioned, President Trump is in Washington and was not at Mar-a-Lago when this happened. What is the difference in security when he's there versus when he's not?
Probably not very much.
Yeah, so when the president is there, of course, the Secret Service enhances its security perimeter, enhances its personnel, and enhances its security positioning. of its personnel at Mar-a-Lago to make sure that this president is kept safe and that they establish the 3 rings of protection. When he's not there, Mar-a-Lago is a private club, so it functions like a private club. So the Secret Service has a detail assigned there to maintain the security integrity of Mar-a-Lago, but they're there also to help facilitate the club's operations because they can't inhibit the club from doing its business. So the Secret Service is able to have a flexible approach in this case and in most situations, and it is different when the protectee is there or the protectee is not there.
Now, Selena, what are administration officials saying?
Yeah, so the Attorney General Mamdani said that she's been in touch with the president, that they are coordinating with federal partners throughout the morning about the incident and how it went down. She says she is grateful that the president is safe and that law enforcement are also safe. But remember that this is not the first time involving an armed suspect at one of the president's properties in Florida. Remember that back in September 2024, Secret Service agents opened fire on Ryan Routh. He was standing with a rifle near a fence on the perimeter of one of the president's golf courses while the president was playing around.
He should not hang out there, maybe for the rest of his life. I don't know how much how much time that is. It could be a decade, it could be less, it could be even longer. He may outlive us all as far as we're concerned. But what I'm trying to say is he should find a new place to call home. Latest security breach is coming amid a period of heightened political tension that's following the high-profile threats against the president. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt praised the quick and decisive actions of the Secret Service. The incident has also become a focal point for Washington. Lawmakers are currently debating a funding deal for the Department of Homeland Security, which has been operating without a budget for over a week. Let's play the final clip of this, and then we'll get on to the rapid fire section.
Round of golf. Routh was actually convicted of trying to assassinate the president and was sentenced to life in prison.
Yes, he
earlier
was.
This month. We have not yet heard directly from the president, though, on this incident from this morning.
All right, Selena Wang and Donald Halick, thank you both.
So in case you're curious where this goes from here, I try to always stay informed on what the legalities will be around this. So, let's put our lawyer hats on together. Let's put our yarmulkes on, and let's go ahead and address what they're doing right now. The FBI, DHS, CIA, they are scrubbing his home. If you don't know, this is the same situation that happened with Thomas Matthew Crooks. For some odd reason, his house didn't have any silverware in it. You know what I mean? It's just an odd coincidence. You know what I mean? Just weird, odd, almost as though it was like a playhouse that was set up. You know what I mean? And then the photos and whatnot were terrifying. You look at it, it looks like it's out of the back rooms. The CIA is scrubbing his home. They are likely either placing a copy of the Quran. They are placing some version of it may be a white nationalist text. It might be something. They could be a trans shooter. You know what I mean? It could be a thing where they put some sort of like a research book into gender transition surgery and shit like that. They're finding some sort of intense manifesto that they're going to put maybe under a bed next to the rifle. I don't know. They're finding a way to immediately make this person appear to be a radical, to be an individual that was maybe kooky, a little out there a ways. You know what I mean? When admittedly, I think this is what the case was. He was a Trump supporter who sadly was disenfranchised, lost a bit of the hype that there was for the MAGA movement once he realized that they had no interest in doing anything relating to Israel. And as a result, he, foolishly, in my personal opinion, I'm not encouraging his sort of behavior. It's stupid, and it's a way to get yourself killed. He decided, I'm going to be a cowboy, and I'm going to take justice into my own hands. And look where it ended. Look where it ended him up, folks. Look where it ended him up. What else is there to talk about today? I mean, let's talk about, how about this? Let's get into the rapid fire section of today's headlines, folks. Like a bunch of random stories that you need to know about in order to keep your media diet healthy. Fun stuff. I'm going to intermix with some of the more important world news. You know what I mean? Why are the ladies on The View having a meltdown over being named in the Epstein files? This is weird. Just accept it.
We're on the list because we were at a party or a wedding or something that somebody might have been. That's what I found out anyway.
Yeah, no,
I was at Trump's wedding to Marla.
Right.
Maybe Epstein was there too. Who knows?
I don't know.
So that means that I'm not guilty, obviously. But these other ones, how are you going to decide who's really guilty?
Decide.
And who's not?
I think it's very clear because if you look, You know why my name is there. Because someone was looking for a plane, and that's what people do. They go to all the people who have private planes and say, do you have one?
And you didn't get on the plane.
I didn't get on the plane. I didn't know they were looking for a plane.
Yeah.
I had no idea that
I didn't know they were looking for a
was
plane.
supposed to be on was no longer available. So
Available.
I'm named in there like Whoopi Goldberg needs a plane.
There are a lot of people that Marilyn Monroe was on the list.
Yes.
There were plenty of people that were there are plenty of
Elvis
people
also.
named in the list that may have not done anything wrong.
Yeah.
But I think that there are a lot of people that are on their list that are guilty
Yes,
of wrongdoing.
yes.
And I have no confidence, unfortunately. It gives me no pleasure to say this. But I don't have any
Let me
confidence
say it like
that
this.
this
I
is
think
anything.
that they are going to. Hold on, Joy. I think
Hold on,
they
Joy.
Are going to. They're going to do it like, you know how you eat around an apple till you get to the core?
Yes.
I think that's how they're going to do it. They're
This
going to
doesn't-
eat all this stuff
I don't have
all
confidence.
around
Eat all
here,
this
and
stuff.
then they're going to get, hopefully, then they'll get to the core.
Why does Whoopi Goldberg sound like Dr. Hook? Does anyone know Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show? This is this old band. They did a lot of songs that are admittedly not great. They have Sylvia's Mother. That's a classic. Cover of the Rolling Stone. These are great songs. You know what I mean? Only 16. Goddamn. They were active 1967 to late 70s and early 80s. I don't know. Anyways, the lead singer, he had this very distinctive like crack to his voice. It was a very particular. He would just yell at his wife to cook him T-bone steak and shit, and that's how Whoopi Goldberg sounds. I have a theory as though she might be Dennis LaCroix. I don't know how to pronounce any of these men's names. John Marr, Michelle Cordell. I don't know the members. They started in Union City, New Jersey. They're a rock band. Whatever. Zora Mamdani is getting verbally berated by a woman. Apparently, he has no regards or respect for black people. I didn't know that. This is a black lady chastising him, so I think we have to take her word for it.
You didn't even mention that black girl, that black woman that was found in a garbage bag. You didn't even have the respect to make a statement about that black girl's body shot up in a garbage bag. But if she was a white woman, you would have made a statement. And if she was a Jew, you might have said something too.
If she was a fucking Jew, you would have said something too. What, did they censor out Jew?
And if she was a Jew, you might
Good.
have said something too.
Because it's not a slur. Jew is not a slur. People can use it as a slur. They can use it to try to be derogatory. But Jew can also just be a way of labeling like, oh, they are a Jewish person.
And shame on your.
Look at her go.
Shame on you. You should be ashamed of yourself that you didn't have the respect to mention that woman. Michelle Montgomery is her name. And you didn't even have the decency to mention her name and make a statement.
Make
Yeah,
a
you
statement.
Right off, sucker.
Sucker.
Right off.
Right off. Goddamn. She is angry. She is upset. I don't know. I guess he's ignoring black people or something. According to her, this is not me. I'm not trying to tell you that Zora Mamdani is ignoring black people. It's her. It's her, but he's the future of the party, so I think she should just get over it, quite frankly. EU is failing to agree on Russia sanctions. A fourth anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, it's approaching, and the European Union members are failing to agree on new sanctions packages against Moscow. Hungary's opposition stemmed from the idea that the deal had blocked a 90 billion euro loan to Ukraine. And they're they're deepening intra-EU tensions over policy and solidarity. Whatever. It's not my region of the world. It's very sad. UN is calling for new security architecture. The United Nations Security General Antonio Gutierrez, he issued a call for a renewed international security framework. They're warning that existing post-World War II order is inadequate. By the way, you always hear this with the UN, post-World War II. It's like that was almost 100 years ago. We're getting to the point where it's 80 years ago, 90 years ago. Like 45 is not that long. It's a long ass time ago. You know what I mean? I know that we have relatives that were born in 45, but we have to admit the fact that they are old as shit. It's not the same world anymore. So yeah, post World War II, You should have been thinking about post-Cold War. You should have been thinking about that era, my guy. A post-World War II system is inadequate. Trump is also raising tariffs after a Supreme Court ruling following the United States Supreme Court decision that struck down his original tariff regimen. President Donald Trump announced a new 15% global tariff under alternative authority. Its move is sparking economic uncertainty, market volatility, and diplomatic tensions with trading partners. Interessante. Former American Idol contestant accused of killing his wife.
Former American Idol contestant Caleb Flynn accused of murdering his wife, 37-year-old teacher and mother of 2, Ashley Flynn.
What'd she do to deserve it?
1 count of murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence.
How mad did she make him?
Pleading not guilty. Investigators say officers first rushed to the couple's Tip City home around 2:30 in the morning last Monday after a 911 call from Caleb reporting what he claimed was a home invasion.
Somebody broke into my home. Somebody broke into my home and shot my wife.
Shot my wife?
Got there, they found Ashley shot twice in the head,
Oh.
pronounced dead at the scene while the couple's 2 young daughters were asleep inside the house. In the newly released call,
You don't have to be brilliant to figure out that robbers don't generally bring firearms because they don't plan on leaving any trace that they were there most of the time, or at least if they're good, they don't plan on a violent confrontation. They don't plan on killing anybody because the idea is to get in, get out, no one gets hurt except for them when they find out how much they're gonna, if they don't have it insured, they're gonna have to pay out to replace the, golden bull statue that you stole from their shelf or some shit.
Caleb repeatedly describes his wife's wounds and his panic inside the bedroom.
My wife, she got 2 shots to her head. There's blood everywhere. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Immediately, if I hear a man who's talking like this, I would get suspicious. I don't know about anybody else, but I would just kind of stay silent when it's not necessary. This is a very performative way of being upset. Like, to go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and to not just sit there and... If you need to breathe. But honestly, to sit there and go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that's a dead giveaway. Come on. Like, not even I'm that shitty of an actor. If you're acting all panicky and nervous, immediately I'm going to get nervous and I'm going to look at you and I'm going to be like, what, where were you earlier?
After what they call a complex week-long investigation, Tip City police now say the crime scene was staged and that it was Caleb who shot and killed his wife with a 9mm handgun.
We don't believe that it was anything random. It was more of a targeted, isolated incident to that one house.
Tip City, Ohio.
In a Road to Hollywood interview from 2013, Caleb said music is all I know, and that he'd been encouraged to audition by his wife.
I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. Just, oof, I love her.
Oh, that's so performative and fake. Oh, my wife is so pretty. Oh, I love her. Anyone who needs to say how much they love their wife, what are you doing? Are you serious? You can't just let it sit in reality and truth. You gotta go on it's like Tom Cruise jumping up and down for what's her name? Who did Tom Cruise jump on the couch for? Katie Holmes on the Oprah Winfrey show. I'm sorry, but before 2005, my knowledge starts to. Well, this was 2005. Before the 2000s, you have to give me that. I was a baby. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to remember iconic moments like Michael Jackson holding his kid out of a fucking balcony.
His family says our hearts are shattered. Ashley brought endless light to our world. Our family believes this arrest was made carefully and not without serious consideration. Now, the family is asking for privacy as they cling to their faith, and they're urging anyone with information to contact Tip City Police as this case moves through the courts. Meanwhile, Caleb Flynn remains behind bars, awaiting his next court date, and the judge has set his bond at $2 million.
Oh, and really,
Free Caleb.
The 2 daughters were there in the house, just awful. All right,
thank
you so much, Ike.
I love that he goes, just awful. Thank you so much, Mike. We really appreciate it. Speaking of which, United States Secretary of State and President of Venezuela, Marco Rubio, his Caribbean diplomacy is going a certain way on high-profile trip to the Caribbean to reinforce U.S. strategic interest after the regional instability tied to Venezuela and broader geopolitical competition. It's underscoring what Washington's focus on influence in the southern neighborhood is going to be lately. Let me be honest with you. Are we going to have President Marco Rubio? Probably. Is he better on the issue than JD Vance? Is he more respectable in a suit? Is he less memeable? Is he popular with the Latino vote? Yes, actually, majority of the people do, for some odd reason, like this guy. He's a bit of an empty suit, as many like to say. He ran as a ne'er-do-well in 2016 and whatnot. He was embarrassed in those early debates. You watch, even Ted Cruz was doing better, and admittedly, some of those moments. I know poor little Jeb Bush had no chance. He never did. No one likes to talk about how embarrassing his flamed out campaign was, but admittedly, Marco Rubio, he's always had this mystique. He's always had this, like, slightly mystic ethnic energy. I don't know if it's, like, it looks like his grandma does tarot card readings or something in Miami. You know what I, like, he's got a bit of a fun vibe. You know what I mean? Just a bit of a, he could feel like he could bring something fun to their job. Our first Latino president, it ain't gonna be a woman. I'm sorry. AOC, you don't stand a chance. You're not gonna be our first Hispanic president. It's gonna be a man, unfortunately, because just like with black presidents, we were not comfortable with the idea of a black president in regards to Kamala Harris. Admittedly, though, she's definitely more Jamaican and whatnot. That she is at most East Asian. You know what I mean? Her father has his ties to Afro heritage is. It's questionable, you know what I mean? It's whatever. People can talk however they want in the comments about Kamala Harris's ethnicity. She can say whatever she wants, you know what I mean? She hasn't taken an ancestry and published a picture of it, so I'm not making any massive claims about what I am without any evidence, you know what I mean? It's just like, come on, girl. Whatever. She's a certain color. What I'm trying to say is, Marco Rubio, you need a man to make the audience comfortable with people. Like, people will not be comfortable with a black president, like, regardless of the gender, until Barack Obama did it first. They're not going to be comfortable with an Indian president until a man, for some reason, does it first. That's how this country operates. Am I saying I like it? Am I saying I'm a fan of it? No, I'm just telling you the way that things work, and don't shoot the messenger is what I love to say on this show. You know what I mean? I just tell you the way things are, and people, if you don't like it, deal with it in the world. Just like how President Trump is dealing with it in the world. He is going to a Georgia fast food chain. He is signing autographs ahead of a rally on the economy. I love this. This picture of a bunch of black people and maybe like one white guy standing behind what appears to be a Combo's, like a Chick-fil-A counter or something. Him standing, clearly cleared out the lobby, and made all these people come out from the back. They're sweaty. They've been working all day. And he lines them all up so that he can get a photo op opportunity. Let's put this in the description so you guys can watch it and also play it on the show right here. President Trump showing up to show how much he really cares about middle America and people in Georgia, black people, making you a Combo's chicken or whatever.
I'm going to ask my guys, I'm totally serious. Get some hamburgers, I'm going to make a speech, come back, and we're going to eat you, and we'll have them warmed up. Air Force One is nice warming. You can be warming around. We can do anything.
Okay, this is embarrassing. He is now moving behind the counter. He's like, all right, line them up. Make sure that every one of them washes their hands because I'm not gonna, I already have to touch their hands. Admittedly, I don't think that he's against, listen, if you've seen Donald Trump, he gets down with you no matter what color you are. It's the pores that he really hates. He loves you no matter what color you are if you have money. If you have money, he likes you. But if you're black or white, look at this theme coming up once again. It's racial equality on the show today. We're talking about a man who, he scoffs at the idea of touching your hands if you are black or white and you have nothing in your bank account. It doesn't matter that these people are black. It doesn't matter that they're white. He is disgusted at the idea of needing to be around them just for this photo opportunity. The McDonald's photo op that he did almost killed him. 25 years. You look too young for that. Oh, he doesn't even shake their hands. He brushes them aside and he stands for the photo. He's like, all right, line them up around me. I want to look like, get this guy behind me. He looks like Uncle Ben on the rice box. Get him behind me. He looks beautiful. I got Aunt Jemima right next to me. Look at that. Oh my God. Thank you, President Trump. His supporters don't do him any favor with the cult charge. They really don't help him. The reverence and whatnot. It's the same energy that when Obama goes out for ice cream and people are desperate to shake his hand as though he's some fucking savior. Listen, if I met Barry on the streets of Chicago one day, I would ask him for a photo. I would ask, where do you get your haircut? I would then say, have you ever heard of this place here or there? I'd give him admittedly, I want him to try something. I've always thought that he would look good. You know, when CJ in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, he's able to get this low fro, excuse me. I've always said, Obama, you need to try out the low fro. I saw you with it back in the 70s, and I've always thought you should bring it back. Because just tell your barber that. Tell your barber to let you grow it out a little bit. Try it out. Now give yourself a bit of this Neil deGrasse Tyson intellectual energy. That's the advice that I would give Barry if I saw him on the streets. If I saw President Trump on the streets, admittedly, I don't know what I would do. I would ask him if he wanted to be on the podcast. Maybe that's the same question for Barack Obama, but the hair has just been on my mind a lot more because I saw this picture of him. He was sitting like in the 70s and he was smoking a cigarette, and I was like, that Obama looks like a philosopher. He looks like a deep thinker. Can we bring him back? I feel like that black dad energy would just be so much more fun. Anyways, Conan O'Brien is breaking his silence on the Rob and Michelle Reiner murders. What?
The son of legendary filmmaker Rob Reiner due back in court this morning.
Oh, fun.
2.5 months after prosecutors say he stabbed his parents to death inside their Los Angeles home.
Allegedly.
Nick Reiner now potentially set to enter a plea.
Allegedly. Is there no fucking integrity in the news these days? He has not been convicted. He's not been proven guilty.
After the judge in the case delayed his arraignment for a second time, when Reiner's defense team stepped down.
Pursuant to the law in California, Nick Reiner is not guilty of murder.
Reiner spoke openly in the past about his struggles with addiction and mental health, and at some point before the murders had changed or adjusted medication he took for a serious psychiatric disorder.
What a loser.
3 people with direct knowledge of the case. Just hours before their murders, Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle attended a holiday party hosted by Conan O'Brien, bringing their son Nick along with them. Where 2 people familiar with this situation tell NBC News, the younger Reiner became disruptive.
Nick Reiner is the type of kid that makes me go, you know, I love Rob Reiner. I love Meathead. Meathead on All in the Family was a very fun character. He balanced out the energy perfectly. And he was that kind of libtard, not very libtard, but like liberal, nice guy, a bit of a pushover in real life, because admittedly that energy around the world, it fosters not very good parents. It fosters kind of people who are pushovers, people who aren't willing to let their kids know when enough is enough. And it's like, you will not fucking behave this way, you little fucking shit. I've given you everything in this world. I've literally let you live in the Hollywood Hills. I swear to God, if you get into one more fucking incident, or if you try to make an embarrassment of yourself or your family one more time, you're out of the will, and I don't want to see you around. He was a forgiving guy. He was not willing to smack his kids around, and admittedly, I'm not a person that says you need to beat on your kids, but if your kid is a Rob Reiner type, if they're sassing you, if they're trying to raise your blood pressure so much, if they're purposefully trying to get under your skin for a little bit of attention, or if they have serious psychiatric problems, then throw them in a bin. Throw them in a bin and let the state deal with them. But when it comes to the Nick Reiner types, he looks like a kid. He was able to write for a movie. He was able to throw together something for a podcast. What I'm trying to say is he clearly had some creative energy in him. If his dad just set him straight once in a while, just said, hey, don't talk back to your fucking mother like that, maybe maybe Nick would have had a chance in this life. If his dad had a little bit of a spine, if his dad was able to go, knock this shit off, if he was able to give him a little bit more of old school parenting, I don't think it was in him. I don't think that he had this side that it took to raise decent children where it's like, hey, you're being a bit of a fucking dope right now. That is a bit of the energy that all children need, and eventually all bad parents realize that, whether or not their kids grow up already, whether or not, and some people die not realizing it, but I'm saying that most good parents eventually realize that they need to stand up to their kids. They need to admittedly lay the hammer down sometimes.
It's so awful. It's just so awful.
O'Brien opening up about the loss of his friends in a new interview with New Yorker Radio.
To have that experience of saying goodnight to somebody and having them leave and then find out the next day that they're gone, I think I was in shock for quite a while afterwards.
Outside of Reiner's iconic catalog that spanned multiple genres, from When Harry Met Sally to Stand By Me to A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. O'Brien also praising Reiner's decades-long work outside of Hollywood in charity and philanthropy.
To have that voice go quiet in an instant.
Oh, he's so charitable.
Is still hard for me to comprehend.
Now, as Nick Reiner faces 2 counts of first-degree murder, legal experts say his mental state will be a critical factor.
What a little dope.
An issue with competency that could further delay this arraignment. It means that he doesn't have the ability to move forward in the legal process.
Then jail forever.
Now, the charges against Nick Reiner include what's called special circumstances, making them even more severe than a standard murder charge. That means that if this does go to trial and Nick Reiner is convicted, he could be facing a maximum of life in prison without parole, or, if prosecutors do seek it, the possibility of the death penalty.
Do it. It's California, so they never will.
Thank you. Hey,
folks, I mean, let's put it this way: if Rob could have gotten maybe a bit more of that Archie energy, that Archie bunker energy that maybe he didn't like, but maybe he needed, I would argue he'd be alive today. I'd argue that maybe his son wouldn't have slain him in the middle of his rest. It's unfortunate that we have to talk about it this way, but get tough on your kids before they get tough on you. And trust me, kids, your children specifically, when they get tough, it's because they don't know shit that they end up doing insane shit. They formulate their own moral code. They think they figured out their own little world. They think they know something about anything, when admittedly real wisdom is admitting how little you know about anything in this world and just accepting things that are facts and are provable. You know what I mean? That is true wisdom that you eventually find in this world. But whatever, you formulate these children where and this is the nervousness that I feel around telling children that, hey, gender identity is something for you to be getting into. Children know nothing about themselves or the world. They think they do. They read maybe 1 or 2 books and they think that they've figured out their full perspective on the world. Folks, your perspective on the world is going to evolve as you grow. This is not something that you're going to be well equipped to deal with or figure out at the age of 15. But, not many people are open-minded enough to realize that, unfortunately. And more often than not, it's actually the open-minded people that say that you need to be open-minded to children and their needs. But children and their needs, children don't know what they need. Children need guidance. Children need laws. They need rule and authority. They need to understand why things are the way that they are, and they need to have respect for certain things. They need to understand that respect is earned. They need to, whatever. I'm not going to try to defend myself because I always get the same bullshit. They're going to go, what do you know about parenting? You've never done it before. Yeah, I've also never given a blowjob, but I know when someone's doing it wrong. I know when I've never engaged in any sort of I've never engaged in tax evasion. I know when someone's doing it wrong because they get caught, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, you don't have to be a coach. You don't have to be a coach in order to comment on the game. You don't have to, that's a classic rule. Listen, inadvertently, you can be one of the wisest people on the fucking field, and you're not even someone holding the clipboard. It's just years of experience, years of watching, and you'll end up having better calls and better plays than the person who's actually organizing the game. That's just a fact. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our final story. It involves south of the border, Mexico. They're having a bit of a time of it, a couple issues, and it's our final story for Monday. And then you will be released to the rest of your Monday. We will be back at it again Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We do the broadcast every day of the week. But in the meantime, this is our final story. Thank you so much for listening. Let's do it. Bam. Mexico unrest is sparking fear among travelers and residents. If you didn't know about the intense violence that is sweeping across Mexico this week, it's travelers and residents. They are in a high state of alert after following the death of one of the world's most notorious cartel leaders. On Sunday, federal forces successfully targeted Nemesio El Mencho, I believe, Osegura Cervantes, the leader of the powerful Jalisco, I believe it's Jalisco because it's Jalisco, New Generation Cartel during a high-stakes operation in the town of Tapalpa. The aftermath was almost immediate. The cartel loyalists, they launched a series of retaliatory attacks. They set fire to dozens of vehicles. They erected burning roadblocks across 8 different states, including popular tourist hubs like Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta. And the chaos has triggered massive travel disruption, with several U.S. and Canadian airlines, including Southwest American and Air Canada, suspending flights to affected regions. Puerto Vallarta International Airport has become a scene of confusion. Travelers were grounded in citywide code red alerts, are suspending all taxi and rideshare services. For many tourists currently at luxury resorts, the vacation has turned into a lockdown. The United States Embassy has issued an urgent shelter-in-place order for several states. They're advising Americans to stay in their hotels to avoid and to avoid all non-essential movement until the situation has been stabilized. Guys, when you're in an actively falling country and the one thing we can offer you, and this is just our neighbor to the south, remember this, Mexico has it's always been a cartel state and whatnot, but it's always been just to the south of us, guys, just south of the Texan border, it's absolute chaos, and we have to remember that. Not always absolute chaos, but this is one of those moments that reminds you that places like Cancun and Los Cobos, they're remaining unaffected, but I wouldn't be booking a flight there anytime soon.
Parts of western Mexico are on edge after the Mexican army...
On edge. On edge is the way we're going to phrase it.
Parts of western Mexico are on edge after the Mexican army killed a powerful drug cartel leader on Sunday during an operation to capture him. He's known as El Mencho and was the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. His death sparked several hours of violence yesterday. Cartel members torched a number of vehicles and buildings, including in the popular...
This looks like Philadelphia after they win or lose a game.
Resort town of Puerto Vallarta. NBC News correspondent George Solis joins us with the latest on this. George, first, tell us about El Mencho and how this operation unfolded. We understand the U.S. did play a role in all of this, right?
Yeah, that's right. Good morning, Joe. Nemesio Osugera Cervantes El Mencho, basically known as a criminal kingpin here of this organization, this new cartel that was formed around 2009. The U.S. even wanting up to $15 million up for his capture, wanted for trafficking drugs, accused of trafficking migrants. I mean, literally as bad as they come. Now, the Mexican government killed him during an operation that was ultimately designed to his capture. The U.S., as you mentioned, saying that they provided support in the form of intelligence, but basically saying this was a Mexican operation that led to his initial capture, followed by an altercation where he lost his life. And of course, as you mentioned, we've seen some of the images there. This led to a lot of bloodshed. Cartel members furious by the death of their leader, setting cars on fire, torching buildings, and essentially locking down a lot of states and cities around Puerto Vallarta for safety. A lot of American tourists now stranded as the airport not officially closed, but so many flights were either diverted or people not just able to get out for their safety, Joe.
Yeah, so in the wake of those chaotic and violent scenes, what's the situation like this morning?
Let's put it this way. If you've ordered breakfast for the hotel, let's let's say that the staff may be a little late, and if they are able to arrive, that is, I think they might be sheltering in place. There might be some of them that have not even shown up to work. You might, if the water gets cut off, if the electricity gets cut off at the Hyatt Guadalajara, folks, I don't know where this is going to go. We're seeing a situation like Dead Island. Has anybody known, like, they see that thing where it's a video game where, like, a bunch of zombies, they take over the situation. That might be where we're heading, because admittedly, when the cartel is in charge, it is a form of chaos. It is a form of everybody for themselves. Get grocery stores, gas stations, anywhere you can get any food that is going to last you throughout this brief time where we might not have any police order. Nothing is going to be coming to save you anytime soon.
Yeah, Joe, we spoke to a number of American tourists who are stranded. The embassy there in Mexico telling American citizens to shelter in place for the time being. You also have a number of roadways that were blocked, and this is pretty typical of the tactics that are used by cartel members to impact travel around the region. Some of the American tourists I spoke say, from their vantage point, they were able to see some of the flames, some of the smoke, some of them saying that they really just don't know what's happening as they were basically barricaded in their hotel room.
And these idiots are taking pictures, by the way. They're like, hey, move in for the picture real quick. Get the flaming car behind you. We're going to send this to my buddies at the office, and they're going to be like, guess what I did this weekend?
They don't know how long amenities are going to last. One American tourist telling me that hotel workers are also unable to leave, so they're being forced to stay in place, some of them having to sleep in the hallways there. So it's a very precarious...
Can you imagine? It's your goddamn hotel. You tend it. You work there every fucking weekend. But for some reason, the people that have paid to be there for their tourism and whatnot don't have the decency to say, hey, like, you can sleep in one of the vacated rooms. You could sleep in one of the ones that none of us are using. They might be so stacked up that, unfortunately, there is no available rooms. But what I'm trying to say is there's a broom closet. There's something that you can give these people where they'll have a little bit of privacy.
So they're being forced to stay in place, some of them having to sleep in the hallways there. So it's a very precarious situation, and they only wonder how things will progress if this stay-in-place order stays for days to come, Joe.
It may.
So, George, thank you so much.
I mean, stay in place, stay barricaded, don't leave your house if you're in Mexico. If you're in America, just have fun. Go do what you want to, go get some froyo. That's my advice. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I had a fun time collecting as many stories as I could. We're going to definitely have some more to talk about tomorrow because time only grows. The stories that we have to talk about will only continue to amass. There's more internet information being published every single day that we're going to be able to sift through tomorrow. So I cannot wait to deliver you the next batch, like I say, of societal decay. But folks, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. It was a wonderful ringing in of the week Monday broadcast. Thank you so much. We will be back at it again Tuesday. But in the meantime, this has been YBOA Larson with your Brain on Air. Thank you so much for listening, and bye-bye.